Good morning. My name is Donnie Glover. Welcome to the BlackUSA.News morning show. Praise the Lord. Another new work week. We're here trying to get it in, covering the city of Baltimore, covering D.C., covering the West Coast, New York City. Didn't have any football yesterday, at least any local football with the Ravens, so we had to do what we had to do. Let's get on straight to the jugular. Here in the city of Baltimore, let's see what's in the news. Off-duty police getting haircut kills man suspected in 3 shootings. Baltimore just got way too violent. Let me check on my guest. Can you hear me, Mr. Addison? How you doing? Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Addison?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Let's see.
Oh, this is a video interview. You don't have video? Guess we lost our guest. Good morning, Mr. Rico. Mr. Rico, thank you for your assistance over the weekend. Let me take a moment out and just thank Mr. Rico Crawley. We've met some people as a result of his efforts in the community. Rico, I didn't know you were doing so much. This young man was bragging all about you and the work you've been doing in the community. Let's try you again.
It's working now. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, now are you going to be able to keep this camera steady for the length of the interview? Is it stationary?
Yeah, I'll be able to. I'll be able to.
You look like you.
Yeah, I was moving around because I'm not sure why I don't know why the camera was out for a little bit, but
Okay. How you doing today, Mr. Sarter? Introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Addison Sarter. I'm currently a essential healthcare worker working at a shelter in DC. And currently right now trying to get some legislation passed to preserve the few remaining Black neighborhoods in DC, and hopefully try to get that to expand to other cities such as Baltimore.
So tell me about that work in DC. What brought this about?
I would say a culmination of many things. I would say just the past few years of realizing that that it's hard. It's extremely
Black
hard.
people getting pushed out of these communities
That too. Obviously, that's the big one. Obviously, Black people getting pushed out of their communities, but also the aspect of turning those Black neighborhoods into our own mini towns. Due to the fact that it's completely hard to change the system from within, and we need to start to controlling our communities and controlling all the resources and institutions in our communities if we want to have a shot at closing the wealth gap.
Well, Addison, some could argue it's too late, that we should have been on this 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we moved from Washington, D.C., say to Prince George's County, or say we moved from Baltimore to Baltimore County.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see that white people are moving back to these neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I've definitely heard that, this is too late. A lot of us have already been pushed out of our cities, but
no, I didn't say pushed out. We chose to move because of integration over the past.
Are you saying move from just move from these inner cities out to like the more suburban areas is what you're saying?
Yeah, we wanted better schools. We wanted houses with lawns, integration.
For sure.
We might have been tired of what's happening in Southeast DC, what's happening here in Sandtown and West Baltimore, and people wanted, to live in a more maybe a so-called better neighborhood.
For sure. No, I definitely agree. I would definitely say, unfortunately, a lot of members of our community, once they
What I'm saying is it white people's fault that we wanted to move? I mean, you there in
mm,
DC,
mm,
integration, the March on Washington, I have a dream. You know, we wanted equal rights.
right. I
And
would
when we
say,
got our rights, look, we moved to these
mhm,
suburbs. We sold grandma's house, or we left it abandoned, or we even sold grandma's store, her corner store, to some other peoples of other races. Is that their fault?
I would say it's a mixture. I would say that aspect of us wanting quote unquote better neighborhoods and wanted to move out of these communities. I would say to an extent it's our fault that we definitely as people should have had more pride in ourselves and our communities to want to build up our communities first. But on the other hand, I get that some people just simply want to kind of move up that ladder, but it's a balance between moving up that ladder and still reaching back as you climb, I would say. Because a lot of us just move and we never look back at the hood and just allow it to be what it is and remain.
Addison, on this show, you will rarely hear me talking about athletes
Mhm.
because, as far as I'm concerned, if I never see another famous athlete from the black community, it's all right with me. And let me tell you why.
I feel that.
Did you see what happened with Aaron Rodgers? Aaron
Uh,
Rodgers lied. He said he was tested with COVID. He lied.
mhm.
He straight up, the NFL knew and lied. But it's okay if you come out and score 100 points on the basketball court or you throw 10 touchdowns, all of a sudden the values don't apply to you anymore.
Right. Right.
And that's what I see in our community. We got all of these athletes that are coming out of our communities. But by the time they start getting paid, and now they're getting paid in college, it's not the community that are the primary beneficiaries of this young man or young woman's work. They end up hiring agents from outside of the community.
Mhm.
They start empowering everybody but their community. They start building everywhere but in their community. On that note, a special congratulations to a Baltimore sports legend, a young man named Chew Smith, former Harlem Globetrotter, went to school at UDC.
Mm.
He's just been he just obtained a building through the city of Baltimore. One he's been, something he has been working on for the 15 years or so that I've known him. Finally, I think it was City Council President Nick Mosby who helped lead the way. But
Mm.
finally, this city, is coming together with a native son. And you know how important that is, especially when you got a black mayor, black city council president, black
Mm.
comptroller.
Mm.
Addison, how do we make our political prowess, how do we translate that power into economic empowerment? That's the part. That's why we need Marion Barry. We need him back
Right. Right.
because he
Um,
understood that.
right. I would so I think there's a very there's five forms of municipal government. Um, and right now a lot of our cities have the mayor council form of government where it's allowing literally 13 to 14 people decide what's best for thousands of residents. And it also allows them to be bought. A study recently, I think it was 2013, WAMU, they found out that all the developers were pretty much giving away all the land in DC for literally like $20 million. The article was called $1 million Properties, $1 Deals, and they pretty much found out that um, all of the developers that got those, beautiful deals donated very handsomely to these politicians' campaigns. So I would say, so you have the mayor council form of government, but there's the open town meeting form of government, which is still practiced in Massachusetts. And pretty much what that does, it allows all the registered voters in a community to come together and, open forum, open town hall meeting. And they pretty much decide the laws, the budget, and everything. It's pretty much, they call it the purest form of democracy. And
have you been there?
To those communities in Massachusetts? I have not. I mean, I've been to Massachusetts, but not specifically to visit those communities and to see how that system is running. But from what the historians say about it and what they still say about it, it really takes money out of politics, and it really breaks up the aspect of interest groups controlling the politics in our community. And so, a community like Sandtown, I saw an article last week of how they wanted to bring pretty much a shelter in bring a shelter in there, and a lot of the residents in Sandtown were, really against it. And
hell no, put it over there in Guilford. Don't put another shelter here. Put it over there in one of them upwardly mobile white communities.
Exactly.
Because truth of the matter is, a lot of the homeless in Sandtown are not even from Sandtown.
Mm.
We have an inundation of white addicts from God knows where.
Mm.
So no, we don't want another homeless shelter.
Right.
We don't want any homeless festivals, wherever the hell that idea comes from. No, we don't want anything like that. Right. Treat us the same way you treat Guilford. Guilford is a upwardly mobile, traditionally white community, really nice homes and all. We want the same respect as anybody else.
Right. And if Sandtown,
and with a black mayor, we expect more respect.
Right.
Not just this mayor, any of them.
Mm-hmm.
We expect more.
Yeah, and
but it's kind of got inverted where we've lost the essence of a Marion Barry servant leader type.
Mm-hmm.
Too many of us, Addison, get into politics and get drunk off the wine like, number one, we own the seat.
Right.
Like we gonna be there forever. Not realizing, number three, that if you're black and you're in politics, you have an automatic bullseye on your back.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do anything wrong. You got to be cleaner than Caesar's wife.
Right.
Because they're looking to bump you at every turn.
Mm-hmm. And what I respect the most about Marion Barry is, despite his, his extracurricular activities, he was never found guilty of stealing any funds from DC, taking any funds away. All that. He was, crystal clear. So
Murray was trying to get with that girl. I've been in these streets and I saw it like anybody else. He was trying to get with that girl. She was the one pushing the crack on him.
Exactly.
Because you ain't got to tell a crackhead twice. That you don't have to do.
That's real. That's real. You don't got to tell him twice.
No, you don't. He was trying to get next to that woman in a physical way.
Exactly.
Drunk off the power. So, Addison, we have a couple of our people tuned in. I don't know. They're more than welcome to join us. Mm-hmm. Tamara and Nicole, they're very familiar with property. Mm-hmm. So what are you proposing, Addison?
So I'm originally from the Langdon Park, Brentwood area in DC, and the last 30 years or so, they've had these toxic waste sites that have, been poisoning the community. 30 years straight, community's been trying to get it shut down, and not only are they, allowing it to continue to run, but they're adding more this year, and it's predominantly Black community, and just a simple factor. So what I'm proposing is communities like Langdon Park and Brentwood and all the last remaining Black neighborhoods in our communities, with a certain amount of signatures, we can set up a referendum in which the residents will vote to pretty much preserve these remaining Black neighborhoods into our like autonomous regions where pretty much we're controlling the politics and pretty much, Black Wall Street, pretty much turning these Black neighborhoods into our own mini towns. And I would not want to set it up the sense of having the same mayor council form of government, because it just allows for the rise of Black puppets pretty much. So if we were to set up my old neighborhood, about 6,000 people, which is bigger than many Native American reservations, set it into our own mini town, with the open town forum, meaning the government, where the residents as a community, we would all have the political power to vote on everything, everything from real estate to our schools and businesses, affordable housing. And pretty much it put our community would be back it would be in the hands of the people, instead of 14, a mayor and 13 other city council members who are pretty much bought by developers and interest groups. So
Addison, you have to write this editorial up, this op-ed, and we'll publish it here on BlackUSA.News. We'll share it with our partners. But I think it's time you pull that ink pen out. You need one?
I have an article written up about it, and I'll definitely send it. I'll definitely send it in to you.
We would love to spread this word and see how we can keep this discussion going nationally. Brooklyn, New York. You could never tell me that it would gentrify the way it has. Harlem, to see a Starbucks, a Whole Food, in the heart of Harlem, see white ladies jogging comfortably in Harlem. Wow,
it's crazy.
Baltimore. So let me ask you: are bike lanes the universal cautionary warning that your neighborhood is being gentrified?
Oh yeah, bike lanes. Definitely. I would definitely say bike lanes.
Why they ain't have no bike lanes for Black people when these neighborhoods were Black?
Exactly. Because we definitely ride bikes as well. So it's
but now they got Baltimore all tied up with bike lanes.
Oh, they got the bike lanes in Baltimore too, man. That's
on North Avenue. This is like the main strip connecting east to west. They done turned it into single lane traffic. But here's the thing, Addison, not one damn bike in sight.
Oh yeah, that already means you know what's coming then, for sure.
Yeah, but it's not as fast as they think. So meanwhile, I mean, for considering how much you have to pay for car insurance in a city, only to have your mobility limited by somebody who clearly doesn't have young children or elders that they're trying to transport. Because if you're trying to take your mom or your children across town, you ain't taking them on a bike.
Right.
So clearly these are some empty nesters who have nothing better to do with their damn time.
Oh yeah.
I'm sick of it, Addison.
Yeah, it was a video last week in DC of this Black couple parked in a bike lane. I guess they were making some deliveries or something. But a white bicyclist films the whole encounter. He starts, gets out of his car, starts yelling at them, bangs on their car.
I guarantee he's related to one of them J6 people that was climbing that damn wall.
Shit, I would not be surprised. But it's interesting. He writes for something called Street Sense Media. This publication called Street Sense Media in DC, who portrays himself as this, this very liberal organization about, equality for all. So it just goes to show in DC, even the most liberal ones are, our opponents.
He has way too much time on his hands since the pandemic.
Exactly. Exactly.
If that's the biggest thing on their mind right now, It's messing with people with bike lanes. Clearly, I guarantee you they ain't got no kids.
Exactly. The video clearly shows that he could go either way, go around the black couple was of no disturbance to him. But the whole George syndrome, whereas we got to take it we got to take it into our own hands.
That's why people don't like America internationally, because of people like that.
Exactly. The entitlement is.
We want to go into Jordan, for instance, and tell those people how to live.
Right.
We want to go in India and tell them how to cut up their steaks, not realizing that there are people in India that don't eat beef at all.
Right. Right.
And that's the arrogance of a Donald Trump and so many others. So many other. Look at Aaron Rodgers. It's okay to lie.
Right.
As long as you throw the ball good, nobody cares. What are we telling the next generation, brother?
Exactly. And the difference of how they came so hard at Kyrie Irving, but Aaron Rodgers just a quick pass. Kyrie Irving was getting it from even black meat. I hated to see it from Stephen A. Smith for sure, but all these black sports commentators were just going. Not only black, it was most of the media was just going after Kyrie Irving for his choice to not get vaccinated, and then we just see the difference.
He told the truth.
Exactly. He told the truth.
Lamar Jackson told the truth.
Exactly.
Now, Aaron Rodgers gets that white privilege pass.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody said a word. You lied. See, where I come from, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. My grandma said, if you want something, ask. They might give it to you. But don't steal it, because it's not yours. My daddy would say, I don't want nothing that's not mine. And so now we got children, parents hanging out with the children. And so we've lost that respect. In my day, there were certain things you just couldn't do around your parents. There were certain things you wouldn't sell dope in front of old people or children. Respect is gone across the board, from the police officer to the quarterback to the kid in the street. And then we want to blame it on the kids. So are you running for office, Addison?
I ran for office in 2020, city council. Obviously did not win, but I still have it gave me the opportunity to testify in front of DC government and present a plan for reparations through home ownership in DC. Obviously they've been stalling. They've talked coded language of racial equity in DC, but it's still so far it's mostly talk as of right now.
I want to remind you of this, Addison. As challenging as it might be, and it's hard for us to get this in Baltimore, but as hard as it is to understand, DC black people are miles ahead of the rest of the country.
I've heard that. My family.
I'd have been black places, bruh, and you would have thought dude was getting ready to come out like he was at the Haitian border with a whip and his Haitian, Mexican border with the Haitians at the border. You would have thought you was in a Django movie or something. I never watched Django, but you understand my drift.
Yeah. No, I feel my family. They're from my mom's side's from Jackson, Mississippi, and we saw just how last year they were left without water. Like the whole Jackson, Mississippi was left with, I think it's 80% black, left with no water because of the state legislators, and the rest of Mississippi are still controlling what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. So it's you're absolutely right. As rough as it is in DC, it's definitely definitely down south where they're very more open with it, and will.
Marion Barry's from Mississippi.
Marion Barry, okay, yeah. I thought it was initially North Carolina. You know what? I'm mixing up with Chuck Brown. Chuck Brown, Godfather of Go-Go. Chuck Brown's from North Carolina. Yeah, Marion Barry.
Marion Barry was born in
Ida Benna, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yeah. So it's yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. I definitely hear all the time that DC is one of the best places to be Black in America. To an extent, I mean, definitely DC. We have our Black professional and Black elite population, but many places west of the Anacostia River, but east of the Anacostia River is definitely nearly 200,000 people Black people in DC are definitely very cut off and isolated from the rest of DC with so it definitely, to an extent, I would say DC is definitely, one of the best places to be Black in America. But
Addison, what were you thinking on January 6th?
January 6th, I was definitely thinking that Black people were right. Pretty much we were right these past few years of saying that this race issue and white supremacy is a problem. And it's crazy.
When you found out the Trumpsters were coming to DC, and I'm just asking, were you scared? Or was it more like Cedric the Entertainer, I wish a trigger would?
My honest thought was Black people don't go down there to confront them because the police are going to be on their side. That was my first thought, that if we try to stand up and say, oh, this is our city, y'all can't come to our city, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's, the police are definitely going to be on this. And we saw that, I think, a month prior. They came they came around November. It was a big brawl. And DC police, MPD, was on the side of the white supremacists. So it was like a movie because my job.
They were defending their right to protest. The DC police were protecting these Trumpsters' right to protest.
Not only protecting it, but it was just pretty. They were watching them, these white supremacists, beat up on people, on a sister. They were going out looking for random.
The Black lady got popped.
Yep.
They hit her like a man.
Exactly. And the police were just right there. They watched it all happen.
See, check this out. The good Lord sits high and peeps low. If you think you can go around doing crud ball stuff and they not come back around, sooner or later, karma don't miss.
Oh, yeah.
Bonjour to Maurice, le Seigneur, le Seigneur. Forgive me, Tamara. You'd have to come on here and pronounce yourself. But we have folks watching from Paris, France. Hello.
Wow, Paris.
There we go. Maurice, le Seigneur, le Seigneur. Frébon. Okay. No, they were protecting them because they were white. Yeah.
Facts. Definitely.
Tamara, très bon. Well, bonjour. My Spanish is much better than my French. I can read the French dialogue from junior high school. But let me get back. So, Prince George's County. Do you need to share this message over there? Prince George's County,
definitely
right next door to DC, one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest, Black jurisdiction in the country. Again, a Washington, D.C. suburb. What about Prince George's? What do you need the folks there? You got a Black county executive, Black state's attorney, Black county council, big time.
Definitely. We definitely were trying to, for sure, spread it to Landover because Landover is unincorporated. This whole time as a DC resident, I thought Landover was a whole whole city in PG, but it's unincorporated. So it's just pretty much about 23,000 Black people in an area with no form of government. They're under PG County, but unlike Bowie or Upper Marlboro, they don't have their own government. So
Really?
yes, yeah. So I thought right where the Redskins, not the Redskins, Washington football team, right where they play, right in Landover, 23,000 people, no form of government, just and Largo as well. Um, so the fact that they're already unincorporated, it would be much more easier to do, because people want a town, they want a government. They Landover is bigger than other places in PG County that does have a government. But obviously, Upper Marlboro and Bowie are the more wealthier counties in PG County, and that would be ideal for them for after the whole Wall Street market housing crash. A lot of those Black people in PG County lost a lot of their homes, but there's still predominantly Black out there. So that would be obviously would be perfect to preserve a PG County, because that's like that's almost like Black Mecca, where it's one of the rare communities where you will see Black millionaires all over in that county. Montgomery.
I want to bring something else to you, and it's something we tend to ignore.
Mhm.
We have classism in the Black community.
Oh yeah.
You have Black people with a few dollars that don't want to be around Black people with no dollars. More than rich white people want to be around poor white people that they call a derogatory term associated with garbage.
Right. And honestly, at where I'm at right now in 2021, the Black classism and elitism, in a way, offends me more than race to not institutional racism, but just the racism, the aspect of, for example, Biden running. When Biden was running, we had a lot of Black people in our community who were just saying, we need to forgive Biden for the war on drugs and stuff like that, and saying even Black preachers voted for the crime bill. And so it was just that aspect kind of just made me sick, because I look at mass incarceration, the war on drugs, I look at that as a genocide. So it's like we're so quick to forgive a Biden for a genocide, but we'll easily cast away, our own people. And
whoa, you saying we forgive racists, but we won't forgive our own brother,
right,
our own skin color.
Right. I don't know your views on Kanye West, but as wild as he is, when he met with Trump and that whole hoopla of everybody calling him McCoon and Uncle Tom, what a lot of people didn't realize was that he went to meet with Trump and he brought Larry Hoover's whole legal team to try to free Larry Hoover, so Larry Hoover could come back and restore, peace in Chicago, and create some unity and mentorship for the gangbangers in Chicago.
And for those who don't know, who is Mr. Hoover?
Larry Hoover, he was one of the founders of it. The Black Disciples or Gang Disciples. I'm not fully sure about the terminology. There's either Black Disciples or Gangster Disciples in Chicago, and like most gangs in America, Black gangs, they form because a lot of Black people, a lot of Black men. Well, COINTELPRO, they killed all of our leaders. We had to destroyed all our organizations, and so that's how many of the gangs formed. But Larry Hoover actually was starting to, and the gangs in Chicago were actually starting to, restore the community, get involved with voting drives and bringing job training centers and starting businesses in the communities, really trying to clean up the community and pick up where the Panthers left off. And once they did that, they left them alone when they were destructive to the community. But once they did that and try to restore the community, they threw the book at them. And so Larry Hoover is kind of split on what some people say in Chicago. A lot of the younger generation says, if he comes back, some people may not listen to him. But whereas other people say if Larry Hoover comes back in the city, he'll have that power to call shots and say, this is what needs to be done in Chicago. This is what we have to do. And pretty much they're afraid of him picking up where the Black Panthers left off. And he's a political prisoner, if you ask me.
Well, just so you see, at least one of our guests finds what you're saying to be true. One of our co-hosts, Nicole and Tamara, host Sister Biz on Wednesdays on our network, 7 p.m. Kanye is smart. He has done more for the kids in Chicago than any Black leader present now. Wow.
I would agree with. I'd definitely agree with that. I definitely agree.
Help me out. Maybe clearly I've missed some information.
I think it was maybe like 2014, 2015. Him and Common, the rapper Common, they worked together to establish about, I want to say like 500 jobs in Chicago for the youth out there. They said they were just pretty much asking the youth, like, what do y'all need? And they said jobs. So they established some initiative to bring hundreds of jobs to Chicago for the Black youth out there. Obviously, his mother's foundation, who pretty much is an art center, a whole entire art center out in Chicago for the youth.
This is part of the challenge. How could Black people in Baltimore, and hey, I'm not the biggest follower of music, but when a person is often associated with this, by the time you find out that they've been doing something like that over there, they may have lost half of the crowd they could have had.
Right. No, I definitely agree.
Or when you get out there and you clearly demonstrating that you got some healing to do.
Right. Definitely he does have some healing to do for sure.
It's kind of hard for me to tell you what to do if I ain't acting like I got some common damn sense.
No, that's very true. It's very true. It's Kanye West.
Or I can say this, and I can be doing all the good in the world, but if I'm doing even more craziness over here on the left, right. I want to know how we're going to establish our own. And that's why I brought you on the show.
Right.
I'm not living my life concerned about what the J6 people going to do. I'm aware of it, but I also need to know what I'm going to do, what we going to do.
Right.
We know what they going to do. What are we going to do?
Right.
And we have the power. We got what? $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion in annual disposable income. We make any brand successful. The young man, the young rap brother who died a couple years ago.
Nipsey Hussle. Yeah.
Who's picking up that mantle?
Right. Yeah, and he definitely late.
And when do we stop? You talking about the athletes? When are we going to G-check these rappers who are talking about everything but building up the community? If I hear another young gun talking about drinking syrup,
man,
drinking lean, how can nobody's going to respect us? Nobody respects us when we call our women bees, when our women call each other bees now. In my day, if you thought to call a woman a bee, there was going to be a fight at the 3 o'clock bell. But now, just like in Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire, we've now taken on the mentality of the oppressive. The oppressors, oppressive people, we want to be like them. We want to be like them and they want to be like us. What am I missing?
It's
We
it's just
confused. That's what is going on.
we
Similar to
definitely
Africa. Africa has all the natural resources in the world. But we haven't been able to master taking those raw materials, raw minerals, raw natural resources to market. Like, there's no way De Beers is supposed to be running the diamonds in Africa. Period. In the story.
mm-hmm.
These are natural resources that come out of Mother Africa that benefit Europe. First rule, cut.
Yeah, it's just I would have to imagine fear because all like it seems like just how in America every African leader that established to control the economy was assassinated.
Well, maybe it's time, hey, for karma to come back and bite some other people in the butt.
Right, right.
I'm tired of dying. I'm tired of seeing my people die. I want to see my
Amen.
people live.
Exactly. Amen.
I don't see why you should have $10 billion and I should be eating off of $5. I don't see no reason.
Amen.
You know, Frederick Douglass says that the limits of tyrants are set by those that they dominate. When people get sick and tired, they'll do something about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They say 20 in the year 2053. They say the median black wealth is supposed to hit 0. So if we think it's bad right now, 2053, it's yeah. I mean, I definitely thought we would have more momentum now after everything we watched in 2020 with George Floyd dying in front of our face and the protests in front. It was like the one time where, because of COVID, the world had to sit still and really watch. And
racism is going down. You know why?
wow.
Because of mixed grandbabies.
Very true. Very true.
I've seen it with my own eyes. The races of races. And how they gonna deny their own grandchild? Because their daughter love that black man.
Yeah, majority America will be people of color pretty soon.
Addison, let me ask you this. I'm interested, and these people really, they should be on the show with all of these comments. This is your last comment, Mike, Nicole, and Tamara. Y'all want to come on? Y'all come on, because y'all distracted me. Pain is a true motivator. Yes, it is. Okay. See, they make me lose my train of thought. How do we move forward, Addison?
So
you want to put your contact information out there?
For sure. Comment or just say it? Want me to just say it, or is there a way to comment it? You
can put it in the private chat. I'll copy and paste it.
Got you. Okay.
But any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'll start with just Sandtown. So it'd be about, I would say we would really need to get about 5,000 signatures. According to the Municipal Corporation Handbook in Maryland, 5,000 signatures. After those signatures are in place, the county will review it, and there would be a public hearing to decide if the Black community in Sandtown wants to incorporate as its own town, own village. And,
I'm smiling, Addison, because I don't know if that's going to work in Baltimore. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because Baltimore's not trustworthy. They steal elections here. The last 2 elections have very, very suspect. Nobody believes the results. And so if it's left to these same people to say, hey, you have your own municipality, I'm not very confident in that, because these people, black and white, have shown they will do anything to avoid the truth.
I definitely feel you on that.
We would need Ben Crump. We'd have to dig up Johnny Cochran. We had to resurrect Thurgood Marshall, because I don't trust these black people at all. Nor the white ones either.
I feel that.
Because let's go to this critical race theory. Okay, You don't want me teaching that Columbus was a rapist. He committed genocide, that King Leopold of Belgium and the whole damn nation are full of genociders. Okay, forget about that. What about right now? What about Brunswick, Georgia? What about Kyle Rittenhouse? What about Aaron Rodgers? So forget the past, but look at these race targeted actions today. George Floyd, Eric Garner. Forget about it. Look at what you're doing now. I don't know, Addison. I might be moving with my ex-mother-in-law. Just go move to Africa.
I definitely, that's definitely been on my mind. You know, if all this initiative process and trying to get the
I ain't into keep asking somebody to do what they should do anyway.
Right. I
ain't from that mob.
I've definitely been having my eyes set on Cape Verde and Tanzania. Cape Verde and Tanzania.
I've been to Tanzania.
I bet it's beautiful out there, huh?
Yeah. This is from Mike Haney. Mike Haney just got back from Tanzania. I met Pete O'Neill out there. I want you to go look up Pete O'Neill when this interview is over.
Pete O'Neill.
Pete O'Neill. He's been in exile for about 40 years. He's got his own village there in near Arusha, Tanzania.
I definitely heard that Tanzania, that was like the epicenter for Black activists from America fleeing and whatnot. So definitely, I definitely got to look that up. Pete O'Neill.
As we're talking about land and real estate as a form of freedom, we also need to know having dual, if not triple citizenship.
I definitely agree.
Citizenship. We Black, and in America, we need as many options as possible because we don't know what these fools might do here in this country.
Right. And the way it's looking right now, Trump could win again in 2024 because
how despicable. That's the best we have to offer. That's the best.
Yeah, for them though, because white people they stay on code, so it's like you could be as unprofessional as you can, but if you are speaking that language that white people love to hear,
so they will get the message. Y'all not leaving me here. Do you have a family, Addison? Children?
No children, not yet. 28 now, but hopefully once I get to that 30 ballpark, definitely.
This is where I'm going. Is getting a firearm important to you and your generation?
Definitely. And thank you for the reminder, because
I don't want you going into no particulars, but I'm just saying, because like nowadays I'm seeing more and more sisters get prepared. Is that really what it's coming down to? That's where we at, huh?
Especially for Black women, it's crazy how you could you hear. Perfect example. I had a friend who rejected it, coming from DuPont Circle in DC. They rejected a dude that pulled up on them asking for a number, and they shot her car tires. So these men out here are sick. They can't take rejection. They can't. They say Black women they experience domestic violence at a higher rate. So I would definitely tell Black women, my sister, I tell her she need at least some pepper spray when you're walking out. You need some form of protection, because it's crazy out here. Not only do we have to worry about unfortunately our own kind maybe wanting to do some harm, but obviously we got the racists and the racist police to deal with as well.
So leave us with a positive message, Addison.
A positive message.
Let me get your information. We want to get your information up. Do you want people to call you, email you? How would you look?
For sure. Email me, Addison Sarter 93 @gmail.com. So you can see my first and last name up there, but with the number 9, the number 3 @gmail.com.
And are you a student? Are you a professional? What do you do?
So right now I'm an essential healthcare worker at a facility for low-income women with chronic illnesses in DC, and I'll be starting at Morehouse in January virtually. So going back to school, and
I started there.
Morehouse. Okay.
Matter of
Morehouse.
fact, you got a guy, he was killed, named Terry Hairston. And Terry was from Southeast DC.
Terry Hairston.
God rest his soul. Morehouse man. A real Morehouse man. You got a lot of cats be faking the funk. See, it's one thing to go there, just like the Million Man March. It's one thing to have been to the march, been to Morehouse, been to Howard. It's another thing. Now, I don't want to lose you here. It's another thing to take that knowledge and information and bring it back to your community.
Amen.
And teach your brothers and sisters.
Amen.
That's the part we've kind of gotten a little fuzzy on. That's the math we've gotten a little distracted from. The give back. At the core of a Marion Barry. See, people remember, the incident with the sister in the hotel room, but they don't remember that this man was shot defending the citizens of DC. They don't know that he was in the civil rights movement, that he was the jobs man. That's how he became popular in DC. He helped everybody get jobs.
Yep.
I have never met a person from a Washington, D.C. family that didn't have a Marion Barry story.
Exactly.
Never.
That's it. That's why.
Whether they want to admit it or not, never. And what I really enjoy is when I would see Marion Barry and Chuck Brown, in the same space. Because they were both godfathers in their own right.
All right. And it's just crazy when we look at it's like when we look at everything Trump did or said, like what Marion Barry did was nothing compared to what Trump was doing, and all this. It's just
Addison,
double standard.
Racists are running out of time.
They are.
This melanin is permeating America.
You said ended on a positive note. That's probably one of the most positive things we'll hear. That
you can't stop this.
Their time is up for sure. It's
can't stop it. So what you see now is like the mad scramble. I'm running out of time.
Yep.
That family over there that I dogged. Man, they getting bigger than me. What you think gonna happen?
Right.
What you see now is guilt.
Dr. Frances Welsing, she was a prophet. She said that they feared the genetic annihilation. You could look through all these conservative websites that I like to, I guess they say, troll may go to see what the enemy's thinking, and that's their slogan, that diversity is white genocide. That's what they say, because they know it's.
But see, if they understood the reality is everything started with the black man, with the black woman.
Right.
And all of these stupid theories is like disrespecting your mother and your father.
Amen.
And the words say you don't get blessed when you do that.
Amen.
All races. The oldest DNA on earth come from the San Bushmen there in Namibia, Southern Africa. We know who the mother and the father is. So just like today, when your kid get a little out of whack, you got to correct them.
Right.
But Mother Nature is going to do all the correcting that's necessary. Do you see the rise of black women everywhere? Not Boston, Virginia. Is the lieutenant governor there a black woman?
There was, just a black woman got a major victory out of Virginia. And like you said, Boston, you're right. You did say Boston.
No, they had a black interim mayor, I think, but they got a first Asian American woman. But my broader point is black women are on the rise like never before.
Oh, for sure.
Especially in business. The politics is nice, but if we don't get that the politics has to translate into business, we've totally missed the boat.
Right.
It's not enough to go on election day.
Exactly.
See, we playing checkers while other people playing poker. It's not enough to pull a liver. You gotta call Councilman Addison. You got to email him. You got to go see him. You got to let Councilman Addison know, I need this and this and that for my community if you want to get reelected.
Right.
That's what we don't do.
Exactly.
It's like dating a girl. You can't date her once every 4 years and expect no genuine relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Because somebody else is. Somebody else is calling her every day.
Mm-hmm.
Emailing her every day, liking her posts every day. Now you gonna come around once every 4 years and say, oh, we the black community, you gonna respect me. All right, bruh. Good luck with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah, you hit it right on the head. Definitely, their time is running out for sure.
Might as well get along.
Exactly.
If I know I'm going there, it seems to me it's time to be nice to people.
Exactly.
But see, that's their guilt. Hard for me to imagine you don't remember when I kicked your mother down the steps.
Yeah, they think once we're the majority, we're gonna do what they did to us.
That's their guilt.
In reality, we just want to just be left alone to our own devices.
That's their guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people say that black people need therapy, white people need therapy too. Because if we get all the therapy and get all healed, but we still dealing with this nut, then I'm right back there in the therapy chair.
Exactly.
We have to arrest racism and the insidious mentality behind it, and it must be institutionalized. And black people better step up. Did you see those parents in Virginia step up? Terry McAuliffe did not connect with the parents.
Mm.
And they were sick of the curriculum in many ways being pushed on their children in Virginia schools.
Mm.
Let me ask you this thing before you go.
Mm.
Are we too married to the Democratic Party?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I've had a theory for the past 15 years that we should just flood the Republican Party.
I could feel that. I could see that. I mean, I definitely
show up at their fundraisers. Hey, Bill Bob, how you doing?
Yep.
This is my cousin Leroy.
It's like, yeah. I mean,
it's Kwame.
Yeah,
and it's Baby.
Yeah, if they know we're gonna come out and vote for them,
or vote
every time, if they know. Talking about the Democrats, if they already know, we saw how Biden was so comfortable. He said if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. So he was so cocky and arrogant.
He was very comfortable saying that. But see, I warned people way back when Obama was president. Biden said the Republicans going to put you people back in slavery. Hold up, partner. Would he say that to the Jews? They're going to put you back in the oven? Would he say that to them?
Nope.
See, we don't even know when we've been insulted. Mm. And black people need to stop defending dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I've been insulted. Okay, Addison, you got my blood boiling. I ain't even need no coffee this morning. I thought this going to be tame interview. Thank you for joining us today. And
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Posted.
I definitely will. And I'm going to send you the write-up for the process and whatnot.
We will share it right here on BlackUSA.News. Do tune in tonight at 7 p.m. for Shared Spaces with Quita and Dave Lovelace. My name's Donnie Glover, and have a powerful morning. Thanks again, Addison.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Glover. Take care.